All right. Welcome everyone to the Serious Angler podcast, where as always, our main course for you will be talking and hopefully teaching you more about bass fishing. And of course, that does not come without a distraction or 10 here or there. Whether you're here to learn or just hear some bass and banter, you guys are in the right spot. As always, I'm your host, Bailey Egbert. We are bassin captainless today, unfortunately, on this episode, but we are with the Idaho's finest. Although today's episode, Colorado's finest, Mr. Adam Beacon. What's up, dude?
Oh man, not too much. Yeah, made the quick trip down. I've got some clients interested in a ranch in Colorado, so last minute flew down here. I'm staying at my parents' house today and here for a couple of days, getting a little work done on the road. So no doubt, man, we can with technology do it from anywhere. Sorry that we don't have full mic set up, all of that, but we're making it happen here in Colorado.
You'd think 2025 they'd have like portable mics that are like podcast quality that you could just throw in your pocket type of deal. But instead, I have this long 3 foot arm and a mic that's 10 pounds instead. And
Right.
one of these days.
Well, I think about like it probably we should test it, and there's probably a solution out there, right? It's like, how much money do you want to spend on gear as always, but
Yeah.
like, dude, I mean, think about the little road mics and stuff, that like just connect
Yeah.
to your shirt that you see everywhere. Like, I'm sure some of those could do great in these type settings.
Yeah. I mean, really, and this is all technical talk for people, but with those, all it is just creates a different audio file. So all you got to do is just sync it and just all it is matching wavelengths of each audio file, just a little bit of editing. But yeah,
Right.
it's not a bad idea. But we got these mics, and we're always traveling though, so it could be something for the future. But
Yeah.
great show that we have ahead for the folks today. We got Mr. Jesse Wiggins joining us, and we have anywhere from shaky head talk to some chatterbait juice. There was a lot of juice he unlocked in this one, but some pretty good bass and banter. That's per se on this one. But
No
uh,
doubt, dude.
yeah, but
And
go
you're
ahead.
about to be you're about to be a little bit south, I guess. What are things looking like in your world?
Dude, I got a freaking I mean, I was joking. So I was on my buddy Alex Rudd's podcast the other night
Yeah.
and I'm looking at my calendar. It's called the Big Ass Calendar. Have you
Yeah, you
seen
got one of those? The
I,
Jesse, what's his name? The guy who started the entrepreneur. Those big
yeah,
ass.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're like $30, but it's like yeah, I had to spend $100 after using this thing this year. My wife loves it too because she likes to know every plan that's going on for the next 6 months type of deal. So it's perfect because it literally is a 365-day view of your entire year. You might think that's a lot, but actually, once you start using it, especially for like your big trips, it really helps. This is not like you put 9 a.m. appointment on these. You
Right. These are
can,
like
but
giant
yeah,
ones.
it's like, hey, I'm gonna be gone these dates, and I'm looking at my July and August, dude, and it's freaking nuts. So as we record this, it's a Monday. As you guys are hearing this, obviously it's Wednesday. It's actually day one of ICAST when you guys are hearing this, but I fly to ICAST tomorrow. Fly out Thursday. So I have a couple busy days down at ICAST, which I'm always looking forward to because that's where everybody goes down and see everyone that we get to talk to on this podcast who we don't get to, see very often.
Mhm.
Um, Fly home Thursday night, late Thursday night, get home. I get one day of like getting some editing done, repacking, local derb Saturday. Then I get 2 days off from there to basically edit, repack again, which I did a lot of my packing yesterday, but I have 3 days of practice up on Lake Champlain and a 2 day Bassmaster kayak derb on Champlain the week following. And then selfishly, I'm taking like 3, 4 days to take my time home and fish the Adirondacks and stuff. So that is all on me. But a week after that, I get the week back. That's all free for steady as our schedule usually is. But then we fly to Texas for the first black bass convention or symposium down in Texas that our pal Stephen Barden's putting on, which is
Yep.
like all the meeting of the minds of all the fisheries biologists from around the country and the state agencies, which will be, I'm really excited for that one. We'll be doing some podcasting content from there. And then get home that Thursday, have Friday, local derb Saturday. And then 3 days later, I fly out to meet with you for the Columbia River next month.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So action packed month coming up.
Dude. So like it's interesting, and I think this is a great way to be if you're not a full-time angler like myself, but if you're fishing at a high level. I was thinking about this today. Like my year is blocked based on like work and of course like fun and activities and things in between. But like I had a really heavy spring with tournaments, and then the BAM tour, like there's still pro-ams going on, but then there's a pretty big gap, and then it's a really heavy late summer fall. So like I did the same thing. I don't have a big ass calendar. This makes me wants to buy one. Buy one, by the way.
It's legit.
But I have a Google Calendar that I is like a Bible for me, and I think you're shared on like all of my calendars. Like it's not
Yeah,
just
we all
like
got each
Adam's
other.
work calendar, Adam's hunting calendar. Like it's all of them, right?
Yep.
Uh, but anyways, so like looking at my fall, I was thinking about this today. So I get back to Idaho Thursday. I just moved, so I haven't even I have unpacked nothing in this house. Like
It's
literally,
loaded out of
it's there's
boxes.
I have a bed. I slept in there one night since I've had been in the house, right? And it's like so, and that's partially my fault. Some work, some fun. Just went to
Yeah.
Sawtooth and the Saints concert. Like, anyways, uh, but I'm next weekend. I'm gonna try and do nothing but unpack everything, and then I take off Wednesday of the following week for the Columbia River Pro Am, or Tuesday rather, staying with our boy Ty Manarola. Um, so that Pro Am, I'm out of the points on the Pro Am stuff, but I'm just fishing it because it's the last off limits before our Super 60 there, right? So I go for 5 or 6 days on the Columbia River. I come back, have a little bit of time, local derb, etc., small things. Um, and then like this is where it gets crazy for me as of now. I don't know how much this is gonna change, and ranch real estate kind of can fluctuate some of this stuff. But things we know for sure, we've got Super 60 that I'll see you at on the
Uh-huh.
Columbia August. I'm considering pre-practicing the Delta sometime after that, which is where the next Super 60 is at.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that combo, so that would be like early September. Would like to archery deer and elk hunt in September. Like that's my only kind of free time this year hunting wise. But I go like this is my crazy week that I'm like I don't know if I can pull this off, but I sure hope I can.
Oh
Gonna
boy.
go for the ABA championship, which is they give away a Bass Cat at. It's on Shasta, so that's end of September here. So September 22nd through the 28th, Shasta. The weekend before that, there's a combo here, Ranch Real Estate. There's an American Wagyu. Like, do you know what Wagyu is? Like
Oh yeah.
beef wise? Okay, yeah. So one of my college buddies, who's in the Wagyu
Oh
industry,
my God.
he's coming up to Coeur d'Alene for the Wagyu conference. Who's a guy I used to fish with, Kaito, right? Japanese guy. Like we fished in college together. He and a client. I think I'm going to meet him up there, fish on Coeur d'Alene for a couple of days, but I then go straight to Shasta. I'm going to pre-fish Clear Lake because again we're off limits on all these for 30 days. In between, so I'm going to go Shasta, pre-fish Clear Lake, go straight into the BAM Delta Super 60 event, end of September. I think that's enough. That's 3 weeks in a row. So I'm going to miss the U.S. Open, which is that would be the following week.
Oh
So we're
my
going to do
God.
the 3 California trips. So like this is where things block up, and then hopefully if I make the championship, it's in Clear Lake in November. But like we got a sprint of a fall, dude, and it's all Northern California, unreal fishing. But like it's
Yeah.
about to get like I need to sell some dang ranches here because it's about to get wild in the fall. Like,
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, you can say that. The only time it really even slows up over here is after that Delta event. And then it looks open on my calendar, but that Delta event is opening day bow season for me. So it's like when I'm home, I'll be in the woods. It's gonna be a hectic like I guess honestly gauntlet the next remaining of 2025 really for both of
totally.
us. It's going to be rock and roll, but exciting times. And that maybe is a little bit of perspective for the folks that tune into this podcast. For sometimes, a show might be a day late or we miss one of the shows for the week or something like that. We've been pretty good about at least getting one show out a week. But we have some hectic lives outside of this. So hopefully that gives people a little bit insight into what goes on here at the pod. We stay steady busy with the pod, but also steady busy in our own lives outside of it too. But
Truth.
it's worth it because we come here and we have great conversations like with Jesse Wiggins, and looking
Totally.
forward to starting this show for you guys here. But before we do, man, a little business from the bass boat for the folks, which is a big week for.
Yeah, huge week, right? No, so folks, business from the Bass Boat section here is brought to you by our friends over at Rec Lending. If you are in the market or want to look at some lending options, if you're looking at a new boat right now, a side by side, a camper, something like that, it's worth giving them a call, digging in with what they have to offer. They're a great resource and always a heavy recommendation on our end. But we've got ICAST, baby. Unfortunately, not going to be there, but you are going to be there. So
Mhm.
appreciate that, Bailey. But man, nothing crazy, too crazy in my mind. Obviously, the year of the dice. I think that's been probably the biggest topic here.
Mhm.
Seeing just all the companies come out with dice. It's a great bait. Everyone knows it. Love seeing it get cheaper. I personally
Yeah.
have a pile of the OSPs, and I'm like, why did I spend all this money with all these brands now coming out with ones that are $10 instead of 20 or whatever else? So cool to see that. You mentioned this VMC fluke hook. That's
Yeah.
sneaky. Love that. I guess, man, what was your overall take from an ICAST perspective so far?
Yeah, at least for what has been
Released,
released
I should
thus
say.
far,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so it's there's always the ones that come out at iCast, that don't do the precursor stuff to it. And so like the main takeaway is you hit it on the head where it's definitely a year of the dice. It's another year of some of the bigger brands kind of just filling categories, if you will, like nothing that's extravagantly
Mm,
new. They might make it
infill.
try to
Yeah.
look a little bit different than what's already out there, but brands that are trying to get, fill categories, meaning like if they don't have a topwater walking bait or they don't have a Nico worm or something like that, they try to just
Sure.
put something out there. It might not be extravagantly, you know, innovative. So
Yeah.
definitely that. The one thing, like you hit it on the head too, was the one thing that really caught my eye was the new VMC fluke hook, which has a barrel swivel on the front and a nice keeper on it. So looking forward to that one because I feel like there hasn't been a great fluke option out there. Obviously, there's ways to rig it. Guys do a lot of like tampering, tinkering,
Mhm.
modifications to their flukes, and I think this one would be is a great option to reduce the line twist and all that stuff. Um, but beyond that, man, I think there wasn't a lot of tech brought out
Yeah.
in this one,
No,
which
that
I
that's a
would have
that's a good
anticipated.
That's a good comment. It's interesting to me because I feel like years past it's been like heavy on tech. We've thought for quite some time now.
New
Uh,
motors, stuff like that. Yeah.
right, trolling motors. We think of like Garmin, for instance, right, hasn't come out with a new forward facing in quite some time compared to Lowrance and Humminbird.
Mhm.
And so it's interesting to me we haven't quite seen that yet. I would have probably made a reasonable assumption that something was coming from them. I casted this year just
Still
since
could, I
the
guess. Yeah.
LVS very well could. You're not wrong. Yeah, from an LVS 34 perspective, but overall we haven't seen a lot of teasing from a tech perspective. It's and I know iCast is more tackle related anyways, but a lot of that stuff kind of gets
Yeah.
thrown in, which we haven't really seen. So yeah, man, I'm excited for you to get down there, get the boots
Yeah.
on the ground experience for everybody. Hear how things are looking in the industry. It's always just a great time to kind of get a pulse from guys. There's a lot of presentations that'll be talking about the numbers in the fishing industry, what things are looking like from a you know business development perspective, and how overall things are going. So it'll
Mhm.
be it'll be interesting to get that buzz from you afterwards as well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, there can be new stuff that could come out this week, but and obviously if there is, you guys will see it on our social media. I'm going to try to be as active as I possibly can here and also with the Lure Lab. Obviously, what ICAST, like you mentioned, being tackle heavy, you'll see a bunch of stuff over on the Lure Lab side of things. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if there was going to be something bigger tech wise, you mentioned there should have been teasers already. We would have seen something, like Shimano does their reels of like 7/16, 2025. Look like kind of things that gets people talking. Haven't seen much of that, but if there is, obviously we'll update on the socials, and I'm sure the next episode that we have in regards to that with the business of the bass boat in the coming weeks, we'll do some recaps, overviews, see some thoughts at once we can start seeing stuff in action and get our hands on it, things like that. But with that being said, before we get into this show with Jesse Wiggins over at Omnia Fishing, they just got all the new Great Lakes, like their micro series that they just released. That is now officially on Omnia Fishing, which
Sweet.
Great Lakes has done some really good stuff in regards to that smaller tackle from soft plastics, but also the jig heads, things like that. And they made it even smaller now. So it kind of is interesting to see certain categories go giant and then certain categories get even smaller. So like when you
Yeah.
thought your Ned stuff could get smaller, it's got even smaller. But they make quality stuff over at Great Lakes. So go check that out. That'll be linked down below. I'll link the big ass calendar too. If people are actually interested in that, I'll link that down below if anybody
Dude.
wants to get one. This is more for your wives, gentlemen. This is so you don't get blown up, while you're at the lake or in the woods saying, "Hey, what are you going to be doing in tomorrow, this weekend?" Hey, honey, it's on the big ass calendar. Go take a look.
Hey, check
Uh,
out that big ass calendar.
yeah, that's right. That's right. But looking forward to ICAST. We have a Hobie Eyewear party on Wednesday. I'll be looking forward to hanging out at, showing some of the new models of shades that they dropped, which if you want to get $20 off of that, links down below to Hobie Eyewear as always. I know you've gotten your hands. We saw a little thirst trap action going on the
Oh man,
socials.
dude, dude, I got some good content coming. Not just that, like just funny stuff. That I need to get your help on from a just editing slash like, hey, here's how this would look good. But I have been digging all the new Hobie shades. I get compliments on them everywhere. Like I'm a sunglass guy, not just fishing sunglasses. And
Mhm.
Hobie's had a lot of good lifestyle sunglasses lately, and I've
Yeah.
been ripping those out. And so yesterday, so I just got here to Colorado, got to see whole family siblings. My sister picked up my Hobie shades and was like, "Hey, these are sick. Can I have some of these?" And like, I mean, like just you know, completely outside of fishing, I've gotten a lot of compliments on the Hobie shade. So would recommend, getting a couple pairs, get your fishing side, but also have some lifestyle ones. I think they're doing a great job right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And the nice part with Hobie being more affordable, it's like, I
You can
feel
go
like as
spend
anglers,
$70 on two.
yeah, you're not breaking the bank. I feel like the average person looks at $150 shades and they're like, God, no. Like, they're not going to spend that much money on it, where it's nice in this regard.
And they're all polarized. So if you do catch yourself, I was on a river this
Yeah.
last week. I wanted to go look for some fish, but I had my other shades on. Guess what? I can still go look at fish. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But man, excited for the week at ICAST. If people are there that are listening, we'll be around. Say hello. Looking forward to. If you guys have any questions from ICAST standpoint, things to confirm, DM the Serious Angler socials. But man, I think without further ado, let's get into our episode with Mr. Jesse Wiggins.
let's do it.
All right, folks, we're back with another edition of Serious Angler here. We have Mr. Jesse Wiggins joining the show. Long overdue, long overdue. But Jesse, what's going on, man?
Oh, not much. Just living in this Alabama heat for a little bit longer. Looking forward to getting up north, doing some fishing, and maybe be a little bit cooler. But we're making it down here slowly but surely.
You say that, although I mean, maybe it's my northern blood talking, but I've been dying up here. It's been like high 80s, low 90s, which I know
Oh
for you
yeah,
guys is like every day, but we've been dying up here.
that's still warm for sure. Ain't no doubt. But which we was last week when we was there 2 weeks ago when we was in Maryland or DC for the Potomac event, 110 was the heat index, and I mean that's the hottest I'd ever fished in. I mean it was nuts. Like I
Wow.
mean 6:30, shirt's already wet from sweat. 6:30 in the morning, it was nuts. But we made it through it, and what was crazy is the fish were biting the whole time. It didn't even mess with them, so that's kind of what surprised me. 94-degree water temp, and they're still biting. So it was nuts.
94-degree water.
94 in some of the shallow still water. It was nuts.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean it looked like a good event from watching it. It looked like there was no shortage of bites, that's for sure.
Yeah, they were biting. It's crazy. I guess those river fish. I mean, they're probably. I mean, they're used to it. I mean, they're probably used to 90-degree water temp, 89, 88. So, I mean, what's 5 more degrees? They still have to eat. So, but it was fun. It was
You're
fun for
already in the
sure.
hot tub. What's another couple more degrees?
Yeah,
Right.
for real.
It's
Yeah.
it's what's wild to me though, when stuff gets that hot, I mean, the only thing I can compare it to is I fished a high school national championship one time on Kentucky Lake in July, right? And it was,
Yeah.
I mean, same deal. Water temps were like 93. But like, how do fish have, I mean, you got to look for either moving water or they're out deep. But like from an oxygen standpoint, when it gets that hot, like how are they fine in that? Like it just kind of blows
Yeah.
me away.
I've always heard they just get super shallow too. They either get deep or they get super, super shallow.
Right.
But which makes sense because I want it, sight fishing.
Mhm.
So like he could see him swimming around up shallow. So that makes sense. I don't know, but yeah, It seems like it'd freak them out, but they always catch them. So I don't know. It's just crazy. You kind of just have to put it out of your mind, honestly, and just fish. Like, I feel like it's kind of like when it gets cold, it affects us more than it does the fish. So probably the same way with heat.
Mhm.
Well, dude, looking back at the 2025 schedule as a whole, I mean, one derb left. We were just talking about it a little bit offline, heading up to Saginaw Bay to end the season. But how do you feel like 2025 has been so far for you?
The first part of the year was absolutely dog trash. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, I ain't even scared to admit it. I was sucking it up big time. I fell down to like 50th in the points, and there's not but 66 of us, so you got to do pretty bad to be that far down. It was just stuff wasn't working out. I don't know. It was just bad. Like everything I decided to do was wrong. Just lost fish here and there. Conroe, I mean, it was just bad. And then losing fish and stuff. But finally got it turned around a few tournaments ago. Kentucky Lake, I made the cut at Murray, or made the money cut, and then made the knockout at Kentucky Lake, and then made the knockout at Potomac. So luckily got it turned around. I just got to finish decent at Saginaw Bay. Just me looking at it, I just got to have a good, decent finish, and I'll make Red Crest. Which after the beginning of the year, that I'm going to consider that a win, as tough as it was at the beginning of the year on me. So, but overall, I mean, I would say as long as I do good at Saginaw, I'll consider it a decent year. Made Red Crest, and there's a lot of other guys that would love to make it too. So I'm not going to complain too much just by making it. So, but that's the key. I love Saginaw. Looking forward to it. I say I love it. I was there last time. We was there at the same time of year a few years ago. It was phenomenal. Swim jig, chatterbait, just largemouth up shallow was just amazing. And the smallmouth, the smallmouth wasn't the deal when we was there last time. So it's going to be interesting to see if it plays this time or not. Definitely, keep them honest, go check them, see if they're out there. But only getting to use front facer, one period. I don't think smallmouth is going to just absolutely play, throughout the whole leaderboard. I mean, I'm sure some guys will catch some, but I don't think it'll be, with every fish counts. I don't think it'll dominate. We'll see. I may be wrong, but that's just me looking at it from, not being up there yet.
Yeah. Was the last time you guys were there too? That was when you were 5 fish limit?
Yep. 2023, the 5 fish limit. Yep. 14 or 15 pounds a day made the cut, I think. So, and it was largemouth. Like everybody in the top 10 besides Becker was catching largemouth. I think Kevin was catching smallmouth few, but Becker caught largemouth, during the event, and then he won it with smallmouth. 5 fish.
Yeah, that'll be a cool event. I mean, between your guys' events there and watching like when the MPFL guys went there, like there's no shortage of content, especially when you guys are there. That's for dang sure.
It's like fishing a pond. When we was there 2 years ago, it's like literally like fishing a pond. You see fish like waking over to get your swim jig, like which you never see that anywhere else. Like so, it's fun when you see them like that.
Yeah, there's a reason why you guys that travel all over the place get so excited to go up north.
I was gonna say, God bless the north, man. Like
exactly. That's why everybody around here, they're always like, "What's your favorite place? What's your favorite?" I'm like, New York, St. Lawrence River, Champlain. It don't anywhere's above, like anywhere's Great Lakes. Anything that's connected to the Great Lakes or up there in that region. Put it this way, this is how I look at it, and I figured this out this year. I got to thinking about it. Anytime you start seeing horse and buggies, you're around good fishing. You start seeing Amish on the side of the road, going up the road in horse and buggy, you better have your fishing poles because you're in some good fishing territory. That's the way I see it.
Horse and buggy equals big freaking bass.
Big smallmouth and a lot of largemouth. That's exactly what it means. So just awesome. Keep that in mind if you're looking for a good place to fish. If you start seeing, you get up north and you start seeing horse and buggy, find the closest body of water and watch what happens.
Dude. I'll even say that continues as you go west in the country too.
Yeah, Wisconsin and like Saginaw, like up in that area. Yeah, because they got them like at the Mississippi River, like in La Crosse. The Amish, they take their horse and buggy down to the lake, like on the boat ramp, and like they're fishing off the jetties and stuff. So yeah, I know it's everywhere.
It continues.
They know where the good fishing is.
If you see the Amish, go fishing. I like that.
Exactly.
That's the best thing. Oh man.
It's true because you gotta have good fishing around there because they keep everything. It doesn't matter what size or species. If it
That is
gets on the
true.
hook, it's going in the box.
Yeah, that's supper right there. That ain't for sport. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh me. But yeah,
That's
we look forward to coming up every year. Like it's like a vacation. Like down here, we still fish and it's still fun, but like up there is catching. Like it's totally different worlds.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
dude.
this is anyone who's listening, if you have not made the trip up north, better go do it because it's as special as people say it is.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's what everybody around home, all my buddies around home, like I want to go up there. And I'm like, if you get a chance, go. Like it's worth it. Like it's worth everything everybody says. Like whether it be St. Clair, St. Lawrence, Champlain, like any of them, like they're all. And I'm sure there's other little nuggets too that people don't know about, or it's not as popular, but just those is worth coming up here for.
Yeah. And there's not really like a bad time to go either. It's just
Oh,
how warm or cold do you want it to
Summer's
be
ice.
when you come up here?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
I mean, I came up in I went to the St. Lawrence in June this year, just pretty much for fun, just kind of like I hadn't been up there in June in 5 or 6 years, 4 or 5 years, and I was like, I want to go up there because my buddy comes up and guides on the St. Lawrence every summer, and he's like, we caught 227 today, and I'm like, and they're all 3 to 5 pounders. And I said, I'll be up there next week, and I got up here and it was nuts. Like you just feel bad for the smallmouth because you're just beating their heads in, but it's so fun. God, it's fun.
Train wrecked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the big thing that's been blowing up here too with that is the Canadian season that's open when our season up there is closed off as people go up because I think it's like a 2 or 3 week period and they just freaking like if you don't have 30 pounds, like you didn't do nothing that day.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty nutty.
But. Yeah, that's awesome though. God, it's so fun. I mean, we look forward to it every year. There's no doubt.
Heck yeah, dude. Well,
I
go ahead.
I was gonna say. I mean, what's neat with this to me, I guess it kind of roll into you like heading up north every year, but man, the 2026 schedule. Would love to know your thoughts on it overall. Looking at stuff, I mean, just kind of got released, but pretty eye-opening to me. Some different stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. I had no idea any of those lakes were coming, so it was kind of a shock to me when I first turned it, or they sent it out, and I'm like, dang, this may be pretty cool. Like like those lakes in Texas. Obviously, everybody's heard of Ivy, but like Brentwood and Whitney and I'd never even heard of those lakes. I knew Alton Jr. lived on one of the lakes right there close, like Waco or whichever one, or real close, but. No tournaments ever fished them, I guess, because they're a little bit smaller. So that is cool, the 50-man field, like just looking at it like selfishly, 50 guys, like it's going to be fun getting a fish, smaller lakes, only 50 guys fishing, like getting to go to Ivy, like that's pretty cool. Like I would never probably go out there without having a tournament out there. So like I mean, it looked awesome to me, honestly. It sucks having people getting cut and it going to 50 guys, but it's going to be fun, though. Like, just looking at it from my point of view, it's going to be fun getting to fish lakes like that. There's no doubt. And it'll be it's probably going to be good for those places if we hit them at the right time and catch a lot of fish. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. There's no doubt after looking at the schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, like I'll just rip through it real quick just so people understand what they are. But it's like kind of combines some old mainstays and then a lot of maybe bodies of water that were hit in the past by tournament organizations, but not as much. And then also all sorts of new smaller lakes, right? I mean, So it goes stage one's Gunnersville in January, then Lake Hartwell, right? Like two very famous, great fisheries that are fun to watch, fun to be a part of. And then it goes, like you're saying, Lake Whitney, Lake Waco, which I've never seen an event there, right?
No.
And then it goes Ivy, Lake Brownwood, so West Texas, way down there. Super cool. Red Crest is still TBA. But then what I like is like Beaver Lake in April, May, which is like, man, Beaver used to be a mainstay. I mean, growing up, I'd watch all the FLWs right, on Beaver. Yep. Super clear fishery. Like a lot of Western guys, did well there. So super cool. And then Orange Lake in Florida, which I know nothing about. Do either of you guys know anything about that one?
Neither. Never heard. I'd heard of it, but I didn't know.
I've fished it one time, but it's like always been on that Bassmaster top 10 lakes or whatever. People
Yeah.
always rave about it being a good lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Grand Lake, of course, super famous in June, but then Lake Erie, which is another one that used to always get hit. And as we were talking off air, our buddy Andy guides right there on the other side of they're going out of Sandusky. It looks like in August, but like man, just like I don't know, as much as people complain about schedules and fishing and all this and that from a fan's perspective, like this one, I haven't seen, let's put it this way, I haven't seen this good of a schedule, I feel like, or something that is just diverse to me in a long time.
Yeah, as far as putting places on there that people like, when you get 3 or 4, events where people have, well, actually 4. I mean, Erie, people know Erie, but they had a lot of people that's watching probably have never seen a Bassmaster show or a FOW show on Erie. So, like, I would say 4 or 5 new locations, counting heavy hitters, like, that's pretty legit because most of the time you don't have any that you've haven't heard of. Like, so it's going to be even in Grand in June is totally different, honestly, because it's usually always March or April when we've been, and that's the only time I've ever been was April. So and March, so like getting a post spawn in Grand, you never know if it's going to be flooded bushes. You just don't know. It's going to be so, we haven't never seen it. And then like Erie, like with our only 50 guys being able to trailer, we may even get to, like I was saying earlier, we may get to go to Buffalo. I don't know. Like I don't know what the off limits are going to be, but I don't know if we get to go to St. Clair or I just don't know yet. So probably not if I had to guess, but it's going to be fun. Like I said, it gets you excited and hope people watches. And like for the average commenter that gets on there saying they don't ever go to new places, they don't get to say that about this event. But it's kind of hard. Like I see the tournament organization's side of it too, because obviously the towns pay for us to come there. The tourism, they paid that because they want to get their name out and show that they have a good lake. So and then there's a fine line between a lake being big enough for a tournament, a tournament event. So like a lot of people complain that they don't ever go to new places, but there's just not unlimited of places for guys to go, big tournaments to go. So with 50 guys, it opens up a lot, and I think that's going to do a lot for these little towns, and especially if we get to catching on like Waco or those around there, about because nobody's ever heard of them. Everybody's heard of Ivy, but it's just hard to get out there and do it. Yeah. But you put a TV show on it, then and then guys are catching a bunch of fish or some big ones, then it'll make a lot of difference, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So real fast, when you mentioned like the off limits, is that referring to like where you guys are allowed to go and get the boat in to fish, or does that refer to like the furthest boundary to like where you're able to trailer and launch?
Yeah, it'll probably be what I'm talking about is actual fish. Like there'll be a point where we can't fish any farther. Yeah, I guess you could probably trailer and then drive over to the where you're not off limits or whatever, but it's always, there'll be a line where it's like a brick wall. You can't fish past this point, and that'll be the off limits.
So with that smaller field too, like even like with this year, have you felt like you've had more room to go and fish, or more opportunities, more places available to go fish? Or do you feel like even with the guys with a smaller field just all being hammers, like the main stuff's still going to have boats on it? Like how do you feel about the smaller field?
Just selfishly, I love it when only, less boats. Like you just imagine, you go out there and practice for 2 days, you hopefully find a couple decent spots. And then, a 200 boat tournament, you're going to have 3 boats on all that stuff, 2 or 3 throughout the day. With our deal, a really good stuff, it'll have a boat or 2 on it, but it is nothing like, a 200 boat tournament, nothing. So, and you actually get to let fish rest. You don't have to sit there the whole time. Like it's just so much more fun. Just like I said, that's just me looking at it selfishly. Like it's just way more fun, letting stuff rest, or, if you're boat 40, you're probably going to still get to get on a spot you want to get on. Like Kentucky Lake, like we only had 50 guys or 65 guys out there, and it gets crowded in those ledge tournaments. But there was definitely people fishing the same stuff, but you still got to fish. Like I had one really good spot that was a long run, and I was pretty confident that I could run down there and get on it. Now if there would have been 200 boats, I would have been running all the way down there for absolutely nothing because there would have been 3 boats sitting on it, you know. So it's like it gives you just a little bit of peace of mind, you know. Obviously, even if there is someone on it, it's probably only going to be one boat, and you know you can usually work together or whatever it may be. But it's been awesome. God, I mean, it's just been like I love it. And like I said, even going to 50, that's 15 less boats out there. So it's definitely more fun for the guys in the tournament. There's no doubt.
Heck yeah. Well,
Totally.
dude, before we dive into some other topics here, we talked about it briefly offline as well, but with what you're taking your boy fishing and stuff like that, I love the content. Like you're saying, you're fishing the tournament, and he's out there swimming. Like I saw that video the other day. But obviously, seeing his entry into fishing, having you as his pops. But what was your I guess who's to blame for your lifelong addiction fishing here?
Oh, yeah, it's certainly my dad as well. And like I remember being his age, River's age, at 5 year old, and going with my dad. I remember as I got older, I felt sorry for my dad because he never got to leave the house without me going fishing with him. Like I would wake up at 3 a.m. and I'd just be sitting there on the couch waiting for him to wake up because he was not leaving me. You know, like I knew he couldn't tell me no if I was sitting there waiting on him to get, leave. I was guilty of him to letting me go wherever, whether it be hunting, fishing, rabbit hunting, squirrel hunting, whatever it may be. I was going. But yeah, he had us fishing. Like people ask, well, when did you catch your first fish, or do you remember? And I'm like, I have no idea when I caught my first one because we was doing it at so young. Like I just remember fishing. I don't remember what species it was. Like if it was, if the bluegill were bedding, we were bluegill fishing. If we used to call them sucker fish, they're like little carp. If they were running up the creek, we were fishing for them. If the bass were biting, we were bass fishing. If the crappie were in the laydowns and stuff, we were crappie fishing. Like it was just something always. If nothing else was going on, he'd bait us a carp hole and we would go fish for carp off the bank. Like it was just, we was just always fishing. I mean, every single weekend where anytime he was off work, we was fishing. So that's definitely where it started with me. And then I'm hoping like those tournaments me and River's been fishing, we have to get up at 4 a.m. because the tournament starts at 5 a.m. It goes from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. just to kind of beat the heat a little bit down here.
Yeah.
And so I have to get him up at 4 a.m. So the first tournament we fished 2 weeks ago, I had to do some talking into him. Like at night, of course, he's like, I'm going, wake me up, whatever, Well, that morning he just kind of rolled over and he finally got up. He was ready. And then he took a few naps on the boat the first time, but I mean, he did good, I'd say, for his first time. And then yesterday, I got it. Hold on just a second.
Popular man.
I'll restart this.
Must be getting some calls coming in.
Yeah, and it ain't gonna stop until I put a stop to it. So and then I got some kind of noise. All right.
Getting that call to go fishing.
Yeah, I hope so. We good now?
Yeah, we got you.
But so yeah, when it got time to get him up for this second tournament, he was like, I said, "You going fishing?" And I mean, he just popped right up. Like it was awesome. Like I didn't even have to talk him into it. So I'm like, all right, he may be hooked now. That's and then he hooked that fish by himself yesterday. Oh my God, I was giddy now when he caught that one by himself. And he was too though. He's like, I can't believe I caught one. I'm like, it was awesome. So, but it's just stuff like that. I can remember catching them, in a tournament with my dad. So I just hope that he has that same feeling growing up for sure.
That's got to be a cool full circle, proud dad moment type deal. Watching all that go down, dude.
Oh, it 100%. And that's why I said I just hope he sticks with it and keeps wanting to go with me. And that's why like, he'll go and he'll fish for a minute, and then he'll sit down in the boat and he'll eat some chips, or he'll look at my phone or something for a few minutes, and he'll jump back up and fish. So I just let him. And then like the other day, he just wanted to swim. He's like, it was 8:30 in the morning. He's already wanting to jump in the water. I'm like, and to be honest, I knew he already had the tournament won. So I was like, just jump in, son. I don't care. And so he just popped. I had a rope hanging off the side of the boat, and he'd swim for a minute, and then I'm like, all right, I'm moving. And he'd grab hold of the boat, and I'd troll the motor up to the next little spot. It was pretty funny.
That's awesome, dude.
It was awesome. So now I know he's going to want to fish every time, or he's going to want to swim every time we go to the lake, but that'll be okay.
Hey, that's the stuff he's going to remember forever, man.
Yeah. What's funny, though, is I was live scoping most of them, or, active target, but it was like the fish didn't even care. Like he's out there swimming right by me and they're fish 20 foot down. They're still biting. Like that's what's good. Like we make a big deal out of everything, but a lot of times it don't even matter.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah.
I love that. I can resonate with that. I was told this story. I don't remember this happening, but I was my dad started taking me bow hunting with him when I was 4. I don't remember ever going. I have no memories of it, but apparently when I was 5 and he went out opening day bow season and didn't take me and didn't tell me he was going. And apparently I gave him the silent treatment for like a whole nother day because he didn't take me. So that's a good sign though when you got him jumping up at any instance to get out and go fish or hunt with you, man.
Exactly. That's like I was talking about earlier, my wife had to start going back to work in the office, and so turkey season came this past spring, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do if I'm having to keep him. And I was like, well, I know what I'll do. I'll just go build a blind. So I just started building blinds like in some popular spots for turkeys. I was like, if they're gobbling, I'll just take him with me and we'll set in a blind if we have to. Like, which I never would have set in a blind, but I was like, if that's the only way I get to go, we're gonna be setting in a blind if he, to keep him from being seen. So but yeah, we're gonna be out there, ain't no doubt. If he'll have it, he's gonna be with me. And just looking forward to stuff like that.
Heck yeah.
I love that.
Well, dude, I told you off on a little bit. We'll be cracking into some shaky head stuff because for whatever reason we never really broke into that on here, the Lure Lab show we do. But before we do, like you're known as, I would say, as the shaky head guy in this industry. But outside of that, like looking back on your career so far, what else besides the shaky head stuff? What else would you want or think that you should be known for? I guess up to this point.
That's probably the main thing, no doubt. Like I've won several tournaments with it, but also won the opens, all the opens, not all of them, but two of the opens on a crankbait. So the shaky head and the crankbait is my deal. Like that's what if I can catch them on that, I'm confident. And chatterbait is becoming the same thing. Like I've made a lot of money on a chatterbait the last few years, but I credit that to my brother. Like he kind of got dialed in with that bite, and like he just kind of taught me what to do, what colors is the best, what to use, trailers, all that. Like he kind of helped me a lot with that. And now I have the utmost confidence in a chatterbait. So a lot of times I'll pick up a chatterbait before a crankbait now, just because if they'll bite a chatterbait, you're getting them in the boat most of the time. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of times crankbaits are not going to stay hooked, and you just leave too much up in the air. But if they'll bite a chatterbait, I'm definitely going to throw it over a crankbait, 100%. But yeah, just a square bill is what I've won. A square bill and just a medium diver crankbait is I've won. It's played in pretty much every big win I've had.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to be known for it or not, but I definitely have it tied on, in a lot of big events when they're biting it. So, but I'll take a shaky head. I mean, I'll be known as a shaky head guy. I don't care. Like if it keeps catching them and winning tournaments, I'll gladly be throwing it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you're willing to talk about it, what's your go-to on the chatterbait in regards to like bait and trailer?
So when the water gets warmer, like if I'm in Florida or when I was up at Potomac, like I like a boot tail on the chatterbait, like a skinny dipper or like a rhythm wave 3.8 or something like that. Like that's Jackal's little skinny dipper, like little swim bait. It's like a finesse swim bait. But I like a skinny dipper on the back of it is killer. It gets some ferocious bites. I mean, they'll knock slack in it a lot of times. And then chatterbait, obviously, just a jackhammer most of the time, some kind. Jackal actually, they have the brake blade, which is what they had in the Japan. So, but the patent run out, I think, on the chatterbait or something. I think we're getting to release it over here eventually. I don't know exactly the details, but it's a good one too for grass. Jordan Lee actually won the first ever MLF tournament on the brake blade. Everybody thought he was throwing a chatterbait, but he was throwing the Jackal one in grass. And so it comes to grass really, really good. So if it's grass, I throw it a lot, but if it's around wood and stuff, I usually throw some kind of chatterbait jackhammer. And color, it just depends. I throw a lot of different colors, but my favorite color is some kind of white trash or dirty white or whatever that color is. And then So and then like bluegill, I'll throw like Brett's bluegill if I think they're eating bluegill, and then like a black and blue one obviously is always usually tied on, and then there's one I'm really giving up the juice here. Jordan's gonna kill me, but the green pumpkin shad. It's got like half green pumpkin, half white skirt. They bite that sucker everywhere in the United States. They'll bite it but I like it when it's just a little dinge, but like not really dirty, but not really clear. Just medium colored water, like just pretty dingy. And that's the one I throw. I usually pick it up. I mean, I'll have it on the deck at least every tournament. So, but that and then trailers. I don't know that trailer really matters a lot. Like I said, when it's warm, like in Florida, I put that boot tail on there. But other than that, I usually either use like the Zacho or just some kind of flat tail shad trailer on there. So but I don't know that it's that, because if you watch a tournament where a chatterbait, there's like 10 different guys catching them on a chatterbait, and they all have 10 different trailers. So I don't know if it really matters that much. But there's something about that jackhammer they like. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
They like that jackhammer. So that's what people like. If you try this, I'm like, I don't know, they bite this one, so I'm just gonna keep throwing it until they're not biting anymore. But yeah, that's my chatterbait. I don't, like I said, I'm not an expert in it, but I'm becoming. It's a confidence bait. There's no doubt about that now.
What about weight now, as far as chatterbaits go? What's your kind of go-to?
So I look at it like 4 foot and less. I throw 3/8, and then like if it's 5 or if I want it to get down to 5 or 6, I'll throw a quarter. I mean a half. I don't hardly ever throw a quarter. I always throw 3/8 or a half. Pretty much the only two I've ever thrown. I've caught a few on a 3/4. Like but we just don't see really deep grass anywhere we've been, like 6 or 8, 10-foot grass. I haven't fished 10-foot grass in forever, but 6 foot to 4 foot is usually half ounce. Like at Gunnersville, you catch a lot in that 4 to 5 foot. You can catch them on a half ounce, and then like I said, 4 foot and less is 3/8. You can kind of vary your speed to keep it bump. The main thing with the chatterbait is you got to get it to bump whatever you're fishing, like whether it be a lay down or grass or whatever. You don't get to catch many on it down, especially largemouth down here bumping without bumping something, whether it be a lay down or stump or grass, whatever it may be. It's just like a square bill. You just gotta, it's just a different presentation, but you gotta get it in the stuff to get them to bite it a lot of times.
Yeah, you wanted to bump into all that.
Yep.
I like it.
So I guess maybe we'll transition into what you're known for, certainly from the public's perspective, shaky head wise. But I think let's break down, starting just with everything from a shaky head perspective. But as far as the head itself, right, the lead head itself or whatever it's going to be, what is the best shaky head in your book as far as a hook and weight goes?
Yeah, so the best one is our homemade one, and it ain't nothing really special. It's just what we put together. We didn't make a special mold for it or anything, but it's the 60-degree vertical line tie mold. It's the 60-degree the head. Usually 3/16 to a quarter. Some instances 3/8, some instances 1/8. If I'm fishing really shallow stuff, we'll use 1/8. But it's just like I said, a vertical. I'm trying to get somebody to make me one and like sell them. Like eventually, I will have somebody doing it, because there's not a good one on the market. Like I haven't seen it. Now there's some local people that make them. You might get some that make a decent one, but as far as like mass produced one, there's not one. But the key is having that line tie so you're not getting hung up constantly. Because you will get hung up with a shaky head. There's no doubt about that. So you just got to get that line tie right. And then the hook is we throw a trick worm or like a 6/8 flick shake, 5/8 flick shake, like a longer worm on it a ton. And I'm always going with a longer shank hook. So the hook we use is a 5/0 thin wire hook. Not thin wire, but I think it might be like a medium wire. It's not a big jig hook. But it's a solid hook. It's not a little bitty, hook you would think of. Like you set the hook and it's not going to flex on you. Because like I said, like I've said before, we use like beefier setup. So I'm using 30-pound braid with a usually a 12-pound leader. If it's thicker stuff like literal laydowns or the water's dirty, I go up to 15-pound leader. And if they're really biting, if they're spawning and they're really biting, I'll use 17 or 20-pound leader. Like, I'm not scared to beef it up because if they're going to bite. But I would say 90% of the time I'm using some kind of 12-pound leader on there. I hardly ever go under 12 with a shaky head just because our setups are so beefed up. Like I'll end up breaking them off if I go under 12-pound test. And usually if you have to go under 12, a shaky head's, a drop shot or something's probably going to be better anyways. But I like I said, 30-pound, either 20 or 30-pound mainline braid with that 12-pound leader. But the jig head is the deal. Just not getting hung up and catching them. Like everybody's telling me, I'd never really experienced this, but everybody's telling me like, man, I lose them with a shaky head. I lose them. I'm like, I've never had that problem with our setup. So that's why I feel like it's the deal because we don't lose them on it. And, like I said, I've won a bunch of tournaments with it. So I've stuck with our deal. And like I said, it's a round. I don't know if I mentioned it, but it's a round. It's a ball head. No screw lock. Like it's you thread the worm up onto the collar. And the reason I like that is because it makes that worm, it turns that worm into like an S shape when you thread it up there. And it's going to make that worm, spin as it sinks. You can watch it on front facing, like you throw your shaky head out there, you can see your spinning rod. Your shaky head shake or spin as it's going down. I was watching it the other day, and a lot of bites come on that initial fall. A lot of bites do.
Oh.
And if it ain't the initial fall, it's like they seen it go down and they come over there, and then you shake it 3 or 4 times, and then you get a bite. And most of the time, that's because they seen it fall and they just followed it down and are watching it. So that's what I like. That seems to be pretty good setup for us. So that's why I keep it like that. And then now if you're throwing like a 1/2 ounce or a 3/4 ounce shaky head with a big Magnum trick worm or a big old monster or something like that, a screw lock probably ain't, it ain't going to matter. You can use a screw lock. I don't know. But with that, 5-inch worm or something smaller where it's going to sink slow, you want that spiral in action as it's sinking, I feel like, because you get a ton of bites on the initial fall most of the time. So I stick with that. And then rod and reel, it's like I said, it's beefed up. It's a 7.1 to 7.3 medium heavy spinning rod. Always medium heavy, nothing ever medium, because I just don't feel like you get a good hook set. And you're, like I said, you're using 12-pound line, so you're not going to break. But that's my setup. It's I kind of scattered it out there a little bit, but just to wrap it all back up real quick, our homemade jig head, 5/0 thin wire hook, a round ball jig head, 60-degree vertical line tie, 30-pound, 20 to 30-pound braid, 12 to 15-pound leader, and a 7.1 to 7.3 medium heavy rod, and give them the gas when they bite it. Just like a jig. It's a jig. It's just don't have a skirt on it. So just set the hook, Don't be leaning into them. Give them the gas, and you'll land them. There's no doubt.
So that's a question for me with that, right? Is like, we're talking about a pretty beefed up setup. You just compared it to a jig here. Have you always, and this may be a dumb question, but why a spinning rod in that situation? Why not go to a casting?
Yes, you can go to, like, if I'm using like a 3/8 or a 1/2 ounce shaky head, I'll use a bait caster a lot of times. But like using an 1/8 or a 3/16, when like a lot of times, obviously if you're bombing over like shell beds or something, it ain't gonna matter. But like most of the time, I'm throwing it around the bank, around laydowns, around whatever, whatever it may be, docks. A lot of times it's on docks. A lot of times it's a killer on docks. So I got to be able to skip it very perfectly, you should say. And I don't want to be going back and forth between a bait. Like, I just keep it on a spinning rod. I beef up my setup, and that way I'd never have to change it. And then plus, if you really have to work the bait, like shaking it, it's so much easier to shake it with a spinning rod. Just keep it slack in your line and, not moving it very much at all. I call it shaking the tail. You don't want to move the head. You're going to feel like you're just shaking the tail of the worm. So you shake the slack in your line. and it's just so much easier for me on a spinning rod. And I feel like you got way more control with those lighter heads when you get around docks or laydowns or skipping under bushes or whatever it may be, when you have to be very accurate with it. And I mean, I don't care if you're Kevin Van Dam, you're not skipping an 1/8 ounce shaky head with a bait caster very accurate every time. So, but with that spinning rod, I mean, I can put it up a tick's rear end. So that's why I just stay with it. I just stick with the spinning rod. But like I said, now if you're, bombing it over shell beds on Kentucky Lake or something, you can put it on a bait caster. I don't feel like there's that much, advantage to have it on a spinning rod. I still throw it on a spinning rod just because I'm just used to it and I set the hook. I mean, the way I lean into them. But it's just what I've, come to know. But a 1/2 ounce or, even a 3/4 ounce, big Magnum shaky head, obviously you put that on a bait caster.
Yeah.
You're not going to skipping a 3/4 ounce up around docks, so it don't matter.
Right. I'm most intrigued about when you're mentioning having that S in your worm, because I feel like, especially nowadays when we're talking about rigging and like maybe it's the jig head minnow in people where they're like, it has to be absolutely perfectly straight, where they're talking about that worm's got to be perfectly rigged, right? Where where it makes people think that it's got to be perfectly straight, where I think that having that S might be a little bit more of an eye opener for some folks, where they look at it and they're like, oh, this kind of looks weird, but then seems like that's like you're saying, like similar to like a beaver, that spiral is what triggers those bites.
Yep.
That's super intriguing.
It is. I mean, I feel like that's the key to, putting it on a collar is having that bend in it. And I even remember, like, we used to use a trick worm all the time, and you'd get them, you get some packs that are just the tail of them will be kinked up or something. And you're like, what is this? And you throw it out there and you catch them with it. And you're like, no, that's because we used to get trick worms that, like, if they'd be kinked up, I'd be like, I love these worms. Like, I want it. So the Flick Shake is made with that bend in it, but it's just not made for a shaky head. I'll be the first to say it tears up very easily because it's a wacky worm, worm. But that bend in that tail, you put that thing on a shaky head. Like, if I'm in a tournament, I throw it most of the time. I put it on there because I know they bite it. Like, practice, I'll use a trick worm, whatever, just so I don't rip 1,000, Flick Shakes. But like, I won that tournament on Lake of the Ozarks, our MLF tournament. I was throwing a Flick Shake on the back in the tournament. Like, I don't even think I made a cast with it in practice, but I know they're going to bite this in the tournament. And that mold of the worm has the tail, it's got the little crook in it. Yep. And but it don't have to be perfectly straight when you're fishing it like that on the bottom. Like, that S 100% makes them bite it, sinking, I feel like. And if you put it on a screw lock, like an 1/8 ounce on a screw lock, they'll still bite it. Don't get me wrong. You're still going to get some bites, but I just feel like I did really well with that setup, and I just stick with it, and I know they bite it. So, and I've had a lot of co-anglers ask me for a shaky head after they're not catching anything behind me. So I'm like, well, I might be using the right one. They'll be using a screw lock, and then they're like, man, can I get one of your heads? I'm like, sure. So that's kind of – now, they may be an instant where a screw lock outfishes it. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, which I don't use a screw lock ever, but besides like on a 3/4 ounce or something like that, but football head, But yeah, I just always go with a collar. I like sliding it up on the collar, and I just feel like it gets more bites. I mean, like I said, till I'm proved wrong, I'm going to stick with that theory.
I'm sitting here with a shaky head rigged up right now. And it's got a freaking screw lock in it. I'm sitting here about to go clip that thing on.
Rookie. My goal is to get ours mass produced. Like,
you need to.
I got to, because everybody's always asking me what shaky head set up. Like, I mean, like in my comment or messages and stuff, which one do we use? And like, I just have to tell them homemade, which I'll give them the setup. And like I said, we didn't make the mold or anything. It's mold you can buy, but it's just combining that hook, with that head. And I feel like, it increases your chances of landing them, tenfold. You just don't lose many. Like I said, it's like a jig. I mean, with the setups we use, and you don't lose fish on a jig very often.
Yeah.
Love that. I mean, what's interesting to me, so I'll be the first to admit I'm not much of a shaky head guy. I got turned on to that jackal worm probably through watching you, quite frankly, Jesse, and like did that in high school, and I've used it. I mean, I've got a boxes of them, right? I use them for everything, for drop shotting, wacky rigging, and shaky heading. But it's interesting to me. This is the second time, Bailey, when we were at the Super 60 event on Don Pedro. Greg Gutierrez won that hammer out west here, who has won a ton of money on a shaky head, especially on spotted bass. And he talked about that same thing, the spiral, right, on the fall of things. And he does that with a darter head. He does it with a shaky head. And it's just like, man, it's all resonating now. It's like, man, I need to pay a little bit of attention to this whole bent worm thing. Cause I'm the same way with like minnows, I want everything to be perfectly straight. And it's like, I just got to start slapping it on and see what happens.
Now, minnow may be different. I don't know. Like I always rig mine straight. I will say that, but I think they like that. It's got to be straight to roll, like they, like it needs to roll. But a worm though, it does not have to be straight. I don't know what it is about it, but it does not. Like I don't care what anybody says. It don't. Now, obviously, you don't want it crooked to where it twists your line, reeling it in, all that. But a worm it don't have to be perfectly straight on there. I know that for a fact. But.
Love that. Well, dude, this little segment we have on our every show it's a fun one. We call it the Amped Outdoors Electric Take. And so Amped Outdoors is our lithium solution here at Serious Angler, and this is what we call a bold question hoping, with the emphasis on the hoping for a bold answer. And so with that, it's what do you think in your mind is the most underrated way to fish a shaky head, and then also a place to fish a shaky head? I know you mentioned like docks and places like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a place where somebody doesn't think about picking up a shaky head that you might do.
100% is going to 1/8 ounce or 1/16 ounce and skipping it up super shallow docks, grass. Like an 1/8 ounce will come through grass not moss, but like real like crisp hydrilla. Like an 1/8 ounce will come through all that, pretty well.
Wow.
But yeah, I would say up super shallow, skipping around docks, instead of a wacky worm. Like the reason I feel like I won the tournament at Ozarks is because I was throwing a shaky head instead of a wacky worm. Because there was a lot of guys throwing a wacky, not catching many scorables. It's catching a lot of fish, but for some reason they wanted it up there, and I was using an 1/8 most of the time just so I could skip it up under walkways or the back corners of the docks or cables, whatever it may be. So 100%, I would say the most underrated is the 1/8 ounce shaky head, whether it be a finesse worm or a Cinco, like a 5/8 flick shake, whatever it may be, something you can skip real easy. A Cinco just skips so easy on there. Or not actually a Cinco, but just a stick worm. You don't want to put a Cinco on there because it's going to rip to pieces trying to skip it. But like a dinger, or like I take the 6/8 flick shake, bite it down to 5 inches because it's about the same, diameter circle as a Cinco. I'll skip it, bite it down to like 4 or 5 inches, but just 1/8 ounce, putting it where places, people haven't put a bait, especially when they're up shallow spawning. It is deadly. You can catch, tons of fish doing it like that.
Love that. All right.
Yeah, that's sneaky. I like
Sorry,
that.
that was kind of a long answer, but
no, that's perfect.
Yeah,
that's perfect. That was the bold answer we were hoping for.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Good deal.
Yeah. Well, I guess, and to kind of wrap things up here, we've been having fun asking guys who they would like to fish with in certain situations. But, if there's one guy on tour right now, if you were to be team partners with in a team event, who's it going to be?
Well, just for me wanting to win the tournament, I'm going to have to go with Jacob Wheeler. I'm not even going to act like it.
Yeah.
I feel like we'd have a pretty good chance as long as he's running the trolling motor. So, what do you need me to do, Jacob? You need some water? Here, I'll get you some water.
All caddy back here.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, you want a 9-iron? Oh, 7.3? Okay, I'm gonna get that for you.
Let me rig that up. I'll retie it. You just keep fishing.
Here, sir. Is this not tied right? Here, you throw this out there. What's fun though is our team series. We get to pick a teammate. Obviously, I don't get to pick Jacob Wheeler, but we get to pick somebody. Obviously, so I don't know. I'm fishing the next one, so I'm actually thinking about that right now. Who am I going to get to pick? That don't already have a teammate. So I guess we'll get to see how that works out. But obviously, cool. I like winning the most, so I'm going to go with Wheeler if I get anybody. Obviously. You're
Is
crazy
that-
if you don't pick Wheeler, in my opinion.
Yeah, put your pride away. Exactly.
No, exactly. Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
like a whole draft room style deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. You know, I missed the first one. It sucks not getting your name called. I promise you. Like I was sitting back there and they're calling names, and I didn't have enough. The first of the season, I stunk it up, so I didn't qualify for it. You got to be in the top 24 in points for the first 3 events, and then you take the next 3 events. So the second 3, and you take the top 24 of those, and you get and that makes the second series of the team events. So the first one, I was like in 50th in the points, so I didn't get to pick. And nobody picked me. And everybody's picking their, most of the time they pick their buddies, obviously, after the really, like Wheeler and them already, are gone. They pick, whoever they want because they're the first ones. And so you sitting back there not getting picked, you're like, oh, this sucks. I got to catch them better than this. Like, that's just, people don't really realize when you get in it's like being on the playground and everybody's picking everybody else and you're sitting there not getting picked. So you're like, dang, I'm going to have to put it in my own hands. So, luckily, I started catching them right after that. Like, that was motivation. I'll be honest, that was straight up motivation, not getting picked. And you're like, oh, my goodness, this sucks. And so I was like, I got to do better. So the second 3, points-wise, I did good enough to make it. So I get to pick somebody now and or get to be a team captain or whatever you call it. So looking forward to the team series. Those events are fun. Like, I enjoy watching them as well, which I'm a big fishing fan. Like, I watch all fishing there is, all kind of YouTube. Like, I'm just a fishing nerd. I'm not scared to admit it. So it's fun to fish them, and I hope it comes through on the TV how fun it is to watch it and stuff. So they're cool events.
I have enjoyed watching the team series and the communication and the mix of like strategy that you guys go through, but then also a little bit of smack talk. I've been that's some fun too. Yep. Even like inter team stuff. That's
that's fun. That was some of the funnest stuff watching some of those guys last year when the trolling motor was tearing up. I was dying laughing. I ain't gonna mention no names, but that was funny. Now they ended up winning it too. That's what's crazy. Is like you can overcome adversity for sure.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Heck yeah. Well, dude, on the flip, of asking for somebody to go win, one angler on tour that you'd put in charge of planning a bachelor party, who would be your pick there?
Oh, probably Gerald Spohr, I guess. I don't know. I guess he seems like he's always having a good time. Definitely not myself. I'm kind of a fuddy dud. I'll be honest. I'm kind of a loner when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I don't know. There's a lot of those guys that have a good time. Or Scroggins probably, maybe Skeet. I don't know. That'd be all the guys I'd want to be there. That's for sure. Like, because I've seen at those parties, they're out there dancing and stuff at the our balls and stuff we have. So I feel like those guys would be good for sure. Oh, I mean, they always seem like they're having a good time.
Yeah. I'm sure if Crete was still on tour, he'd probably be the popular answer.
Yeah. I follow him on social media. It seems like he's always at a bachelor party or something. He's always got his shirt off every time I pull up. But so he's definitely always having a good time.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, dude, obviously first time on the show, and like I said in the beginning, long overdue, and that's entirely on us. And it's with that everyone's first time on the show, we love to leave the show with this question. And that is, if you could bring 3 different individuals to come have a steak and a beer and pick their brain, they could be alive 1,000 years ago. It could be alive now. They don't even have to be in fishing. It could be any 3 people. Who would you invite and why?
Oh, shoot. I ain't never even been asked something like this. So 3 people, no matter fishing or what, just 3 people.
It could be LeBron James. It could be Trump, like whoever the hell you wanted it to be. Yeah.
Oh, Lordy mercy. I don't know. Probably just wanting to just see what would go down would definitely be like Trump, Jesus, and maybe Kevin Van Dam, I guess. That would be
wild.
That sounds like a
see what all went down. There's no relation of any of them. There's no reason, like one specific reason, but I just feel like you could get every end of the spectrum from them 3.
That's awesome. That straight up sounds like a bumper sticker. Trump, KVD.
There you go. I just want to know what, like, there's something about like Trump. Like I ain't even saying I like the guy, but it's just like to build what he's built, do what I don't know. There's something about it that he's got something going on. So I don't know. I feel like I would like to have a conversation with him, just see like his thought process behind stuff, because it's just like him or not, you got to respect what he's done, like how he's got to what he's got. I don't know. I just feel like that it's. I don't know. Even if I don't know, I just feel like I'd like to have a conversation with him. I don't know. That's just me looking at it. So
he's been a popular one amongst that question.
Yeah, and I honestly feel like it ain't because people like him. It's just like they just want to be like, what the heck is going on with this guy? Like we need to talk to him for a second, you know?
Yeah. Intrigued. No cameras, no mics, off the record.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Have you ever watched the Shane Gillis impression?
Oh yes. I see it all the time on TikTok. Yeah.
My wife loves that shit.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
dude, thank you so much for taking time out to come on the show. And hopefully we'll get you on again here soon. And hopefully you have a great finish at Saginaw Bay and make Redcrest, man. Looking forward to see where that's going to be at too.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Momentum.
Absolutely, thank y'all. Thanks for having me. Thank y'all.
Man. All right, folks. That is going to do it for today's episode. Like we've mentioned briefly in the intro, Jesse let loose some nuggets on the shaky head stuff, the chatterbait stuff. Some good takeaways from here that's going to make me go spend some more money, Adam. I don't know about you.
Dude, for sure. Like, I think some absolute juice. Just such a genuine guy. Cool that this is the first time we've had him on. I haven't really interacted with him at all. But you can just tell everything coming out of his mouth is the truth. It's like, hey, this is what it is. This is how it is. This is why I like these things. But yeah, man, some cool takeaways. I mean, the chatterbait talk was unique to me, something that I didn't really think about with him, right? So that was a neat tangent. And then just the intricacies of the shaky head. You think of it as such a simple thing, and it's like, wow, there's a lot more to this that he sees, and also blows me away that no one has made a head that he loves and is using. Like he literally made the statement, there's nothing on the market that is good from a shaky head perspective.
That's pretty bold.
Think about how over complicated our tackle industry is, with everyone having 900 jig heads, all these different brands. And it's like, how has no one made this thing? It just blows me away. Like it's, and he literally went the blueprints. Not like he's hiding anything. It's like 60-degree hook with a 5/0, medium wire hook, like pretty easy ball head.
Yeah.
Like no screw lock. Like
he's like, I got the formula. Just somebody work with me on it.
Yeah. Like, so anyone out there, go give Jesse a call and start selling some freaking jig.
Yeah, for real. Hopefully we'll send some business his way from the show and get our hands on some better shaky heads. But he's the guy. Like, you want to get a good shaky head, because it's not like shaky heads are going away, especially with forward facing people. Everyone's using shaky heads for the most part, right? And it's obviously certain other jig heads get some more buzz and craze as of recent, but the shaky head's always been good, and it's going to continue to always be good.
Totally.
So it's gonna be sick. We'll link at least like we can't exactly link his homemade stuff down below, but we'll link like the flick shake, things like that, some of those baits that he mentioned down below for you guys to, if you want to get your hands on some, as well as his favorite color and brand jackhammer that he likes to use, the chatterbait. We'll leave that down below. Links to Omnia. Save yourself some moolah on that. But otherwise, man, great show. The next week's show, we got Mr. Ben Milliken coming back on. So that's going to be a heavy hitter right there. I mentioned last week on the show that we were getting John B on. Apparently he had some troubles with a trip. So unfortunately that one fell through, but we were actively working on getting that show back up and scheduled for you guys. So hopefully that'll be here soon, but we have some awesome guests lined up. We'll have some iCast content, things like that. And then obviously in a couple of weeks when I go down to the Black Bass Symposium with all the fisheries biologists, you guys will have a heck of a lot of new real biology shows coming out for you, which we just released one earlier this week talking about why and the real reasons why bass have the black spots or the blotches on them and why they have red lips. Because how often, Adam, have you heard, oh, red lips, dude, they're eating
crawfish? Oh, my entire life.
Yeah, that ain't
literally my entire life.
Yeah. So it's cool. We do a whole thing. We had Steve obviously was with his crew down at the Texas Brigade camp. It's like a youth camp where kids are basically studying fish biology at a younger age to become fisheries biologist later on, which is awesome. We had some pretty good conversation on exposing some of the truths, I guess, if you will, on all that. So it's a kind of cool deal. Guys, go check that one out. But man, great episode here today. Got anything else for the folks before we tune out?
No, man, it's a great one, and looking forward to the coming weeks of getting some more content out.
Heck yeah. Well, folks, appreciate y'all as always, and we'll see you on the next one.